Yeah, I think we are groovy.
Roger.
Oh, fuck.
That's how the episode's starting on YouTube.
Just getting limber, you know?
Dude, that's how we start every episode, just getting limber.
You got to shake it out. Everybody do your stretches.
When you said shake it out in the show notes, I thought you meant something else.
No. That's what you keep doing under your desk.
I mean, I've been researching sex games for all
Look,
week now.
I'm told. I just do what I'm told.
You say shake it out. What am I supposed to think?
I'm going to shake it out.
What am I supposed to think?
Exactly what Taylor Swift is thinking.
Yeah, shake it out. Shake it out.
Shake it out. Not like that. Not in front of me. Yeah.
Okay. I'll stop talking, and whenever you're ready.
On this week's Sode, we lead off with a deep dive into the failures behind the new Suicide Squad, and then we find out if Waffle House is going to be the next Tekken map. Later, we watch a ton of game trailers from this year's games. Tekken map? Tekken stage? What would that be?
I think it's a stage map.
Stage?
I don't know what it's called.
I'm going to call it Tekken stage. Tekken board?
Okay. Tekken stage board level.
It's Tekken level. Duh. Just do level. Stage board level. Not doing stage board level. Stop typing, you fuckhead. On this week's Sode, we lead off with a deep dive into the failures behind the new Suicide Squad, and then we find out if Waffle House is going to be the new Tekken level. Later, we watch a ton of game trailers from this year's Summer Game Fest and tell you what we think. Oh, and stick around till the end because you're not going to want to miss out what butt sex game Peter decides. I'm going to be able to be an auctioneer after I get these down.
I wrote butt on there. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I knew you wrote something.
Oh,
I just couldn't get Peterson out.
Dude, you were doing good too.
I know.
You were doing
it wasn't
very
you.
good.
It was your name that did me in. On this week's Sode, we lead off with a deep dive into the failures behind the new Suicide Squad, and then we find out if Waffle House is going to be the next Tekken level. Later, we watch a ton of game trailers from this year's Summer Game Fest and tell you what we think. Oh, and stick around till the end, because you're not going to want to miss what sex game Peterson decided to play on Dice of Destiny. You just logged into the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I like it. I like the new intro for now. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
This is Peterson.
And I'm digging it. I'm just digging it.
Dude, I was trying not to laugh. I didn't even have a line, and I was trying not to laugh. I don't know. You messed up one time, and I was like, "This is it. Now I'm out." I'm glad I didn't. If I had a line, we would do this 9 times.
Yeah, dude. That's why you got fired from the intros. Too much breaking. You're like the Jimmy Fallon. You're gone.
Dude, I can't stop Falloning.
Oh, I'm Falloning. Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news. All right, our news this week is brought to us by Crave Cookies. Crave Cookies here is our sponsor, and they're just the most wonderful little cookie shop. And we always guide you to cravecookies.com so you can follow along with us while we talk about their cookies. But something I didn't realize before until I went to cravecookies.com most recently is that if you go to cravecookies.com right now, you scroll to the bottom,
I'm going to do this.
They have the Crave sugar cookie recipe just on their website. Just like, what a flex. To be like, here's our recipes. We know you're still going to come in here because you're too lazy to make them. And if you do make them, you're not going to make them as good as us. But here you go. And it's just right there, dude. It's crazy.
Here's the thing that's been awesome about Trent specifically in Crave Cookies. If an influencer asks for a recipe for a cookie,
sure, here it is.
He gives it to him 100% of the time. One time I was like, I got to make chocolate chip cookies. I should just go buy Crave Cookies. Trent just sent me the recipe. He does not care.
It's the exact same recipe here on the website that I follow in the store as a baker.
Yeah.
Obviously, the one that I follow is a lot more items, but the same steps and the same order and everything.
Dude, I love it.
It's the exact same. So that's amazing. So this is the how awesome of a cookie shop this is. And you can go to cravecookies.com. You can, if there's a Crave Cookies near you, you can go into the store or have them order delivery. But the thing is about Crave is they change their menu every single week. And they change it out on Friday. And this podcast goes up on Tuesday. And we give you, because we love you, the Crave Cookies sneak peek of the week. We tell you what cookies are coming out 4 days before the employees even know what they're making.
Dude, no one even knows. JD doesn't even know until
I don't know until I read them
right now
on the podcast right now. So coming up, okay.
See, this is the reaction. This is the reaction we get each week from JD live.
The cookies, obviously the June cookie. Actually, I shouldn't say obviously. I mean, it did tell you guys if this was coming, but the Rockstar,
it's obvious.
Monthly
guys.
June is Rockstar month.
Duh,
obviously,
everyone knows that.
So that's that cookie that has pretzel and toffee bits and both types of chocolate chips in there, semi-sweet and regular. Oh, it's great.
It is the cookie equivalent of the Pride flag. That's why it's June's, because Pride flag, everything is encompassed. The Rockstar has everything in it.
Cookie.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Something for everyone.
Yeah, it's the June cookie.
Also, the Fluffer Nutter.
You had me at Nutter.
You had me at Fluff.
Fluffer Nutter. I hardly know her.
The stuffed cookies and cream.
Dude, this is all sexual.
Oh, very sexual.
Cookie and cream. Okay, keep going.
Biscoff brownie. And the the orange cream saver. Say what?
Wait, is that new?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I'm gonna cream.
Orange.
I'm from this cream saver.
I'm an orange cream saver in my pants.
Yeah, look, I've been looking up sex games all week long.
This is going to be a very
my
brain
episode. Is
this rotten is the X
at this point.
Just rotten with porn. Guys, go to cravecookies.com. Go down to Crave Cookies. You gotta try these new ones this week. I'll report back on that cream saver, but I think
I need to know.
Amazing. Yeah, I can't wait to make that. All right. You know it. You know the line. Everybody say it with me. Eat your cookie
time. Oh, dang it.
Another day, another Schreier expose. This time on the disastrous development of Warner Brothers' live service game, Suicide Squad.
This is so good.
So this was a piece that appeared in Bloomberg. Obviously, Jason Schreier wrote it. Spoke to nearly 24 people off the record. These were people who had knowledge of what went into the development of this game, which sounds like it's just a fucking mess. There was an all-hands meeting in February of this year in which Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav described Suicide Squad as a, quote, disappointing release that overshadowed the rest of the quarter.
Yeah, because you lost like $200 million.
$200 million.
It overshadowed
one video game.
Overshadowed everything else.
That is the most insane loss. Like, that's like if Avatar hadn't made any money.
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, like if Avatar had been a box office bomb, like that's where this is. This is like fucking at the level of Waterworld.
Okay.
The Waterworld of video games.
Nope. You
this isn't going to get replayed on cable TV until everyone appreciates how awesome it is.
I mean, yeah. Is there a chance this is a great game? Because Waterworld is a great movie.
It starts with a guy drinking his own piss.
Like, honestly, if more movies started that way, I would be a film buff.
I would be a huge film buff. So what this kind of goes into, I'll kind of run through the article briefly. But what happened is the studio Rocksteady that made the Batman Arkham Asylum games, Arkham City, Arkham something, all the Arkham games, and they were beloved. One notable aspect of these games is that they were single player games.
What?
Every single one of them. And so after they wrapped up on their third game and they're like, this is the last one we're doing, the Rocksteady co-founders decided that they were going to work on a multiplayer puzzle game.
Naturally.
Sounded kind of cool, honestly, that they were working on. But then Warner Brothers released this movie called Suicide Squad that did like 3 times its budget or more at the box office and was kind of a hit, even though everyone was like, that movie kind of sucked. But
I did not love it, so
no, but everyone saw it.
Yeah,
which was like,
that's true. Okay, I did see it.
We all got tricked into seeing it. So they're like, oh, people love Suicide Squad, even though they definitely didn't. No one really cared. And the Warner Brothers strong-armed Rocksteady's founders maybe kind of sounded like they were willing participants, kind of goes back and forth, into pivoting from their multiplayer game into taking over development of a Suicide Squad game. Because it was being developed in-house. Warner Brothers had a Montreal studio that was working on it. It wasn't really going anywhere. So they're like, let's get these guys. They've made some good video games. They're like, what kind of video games? Doesn't matter. They made good video games. Let's just have them make this.
Yeah.
That's like the level of thinking that went into assigning this to them.
And to be honest, I think me and everyone else, at least a lot of people, figured when we saw that they were at the helm of this, we were like, oh, it's going to be
it doesn't take a genius
first-person game, or for single-player game. I mean, that's it. That's what it's going to be.
Well, no, because
I
feel like when they announced it initially, they announced it as a multiplayer game, and everyone, I think the very, very first thought when you heard about it, when you see the trailer or the headline, but I think when this game was announced, it was announced as a multiplayer game that Rocksteady was making. And so anyone that has seen this happen, which it keeps happening, it happened with Anthem. It happened with Marvel Avengers. It happened with Redfall. Every single time that you have a studio that specializes in single-player games, that you force them into making a live service multiplayer game, they fail, massively, in an expensive way. How much did Marvel's Avengers cost? Wasn't that in the same order of,
I don't know,
9 figures? It was a huge loss. So it didn't take much of a genius to think that maybe these guys weren't going to succeed and they were being set up for failure. Zaslav, though, no one's ever accused him of being a genius. He doesn't get accused of that very often. So the studio obviously had to swell its numbers. Rocksteady went from 160 to 250 team members, which is a lot. But if you think about a game like Destiny, doesn't Destiny have over 1,000?
Big old team.
Huge teams. Usually games that aren't single player, that are multiplayer, because there's a lot more that goes into keeping a game that's constantly online and all the players are interacting with each other. Making that work is a little bit more complex than packaging a single player game that is just an all-encompassed thing. So the other problem here was that as they swelled from 160 to 250 members, a lot of the people that they were trying to hire, because they were trying so hard to keep this under wraps, that the people that they were trying to hire were not informed what they'd be working on. They were just applying for a job at Rocksteady, which for the last 15 years had been making single player games, single player action games. And that's what they probably thought they were working on. These are game developers who are not just I'll work on anything, I don't care. They're kind of looking to work on a particular type of game, probably one that they have experience with or want to make. And so they show up at the first day and they're like, hey, welcome to Rocksteady. Glad you got through the interview process. So we're working on you ever played Fortnite? Yeah, we're doing Fortnite with Suicide Squad. Doesn't that sound fun? And the guys are like, wait, what? So these people are leaving. They're getting new hires who are conned into starting a job here, and then they leave. Because they're like, well, this isn't what I signed up for. This isn't what I want to work with. So even as they're trying to increase their numbers by such a significant margin, which isn't enough, they're still dealing with high turnover. Making a game, meanwhile, in the background, making a game they have no experience making. And then on top of all that, so, it's a Schreier piece. So it's not just one thing. It's not just two things. It's 30 fucking things.
So many things.
So this is... I just had to read this whole quote because it was so amazing. I pulled this whole thing out of the article. Quote, staff members sometimes waited weeks or months for Hill, the studio's perfectionist co-founder and director of the game, to review their work, said people familiar, creating a bottleneck that further slowed development. He scrapped big chunks of the script and struggled to convey his evolving ideas, confessing that he hadn't spent much time with competing games such as Destiny. That is insane.
Yeah.
That is an insane fucking quote.
Like, it is, but like at the state of things, it's not surprising at all. You're just like, yeah, I obviously like that's what they all do now. Like nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody's like, they're just like, they're like, yeah, I can make the video games are done. We can make any video. Anyone can make a video game.
You are the CEO and director of a game, and you're making it in a specific genre, and you are openly and willingly admitting to your staff whose life you're making hell, and whose work you're reviewing, that you have never played one of those games, a game of that type.
Dude, this is like, I'm telling you, this is
insane.
This is the status quo now. The people making these
How
things,
does that make any sense?
It does.
How is this sustainable? How are we doing this?
The only time the bar is so low now when there's a TV show coming out, for example, Fallout, for example, and we're like, man, they actually understood the source material. That's like a big deal. That should be the base. That should be the starting point. But now it doesn't matter. Video games, movies, none of it matters.
The expectation is that things are going to suck because somehow in America, incompetent know-nothings and sociopaths have managed to like take over all the top executive level jobs in every corporation in America.
Yes. All you need to do is understand how quarterly profits like manifest themselves, and that's it. That's all you need to know. I'm positive that's it. You don't need to know about anything about the business. You just need to know how to manifest quarterly profits, and if you don't make that happen, then you're a failure.
I can't help, because I'm a human being and not a sociopath, I guess, putting myself in the shoes of these executives and thinking, so you and I, Peterson, we make 3 amazing video games, and we are just astounded by our luck that we have assembled such an awesome team of like 150 people who are just all stars, and we just keep pumping out hits. And every year, if people hear that the new Arkham game's coming out, they're like, wow. And they're excited.
Stoked.
And you and I go home and we crawl into bed and we sleep like fucking babies because we've created something that people love, and we've created a company that people love, and we're doing a good job. And then at some point, our boss's boss comes to us and they're like, you have to make this game. And we're like, I guess, okay, we'll make that work. We wanted to make something we want to make, but okay, we'll make this kind of game. And then at no point over the next couple years, 365 days in each of those, did we play a game like the game that we're trying to make. I can't get there. Mentally, I can't get how you go from like, were they just that lucky with the Arkham games? Like they just like had a really awesome team that did all the work and they just took the credit.
Dude, they stumble into a niche, right? And they find it. They find their place in the market. They find where they're making money. They've got a fan base. And then someone pulls them out of it because all they see is you can be successful. So you'll be successful everywhere.
This is like Steve Jobs curing his own cancer.
Yeah.
Geniuses at work.
He knows exactly what he's doing because he made a computer.
Yeah, I made it the most successful company of all time. Of course I can cure my own cancer.
Yeah,
doctors are idiots. They've never made Apple.
You know how many doctors there are? There's so many. Do you know how many Steve Jobs there are? 1.
0. Oh.
Well, now there's 0.
Anyway, dude, and then on top of all this, Hill, the co-founder, he just fucking straight up leaves. Both the co-founders leave in 2022. So they just like this wake of destruction that the company represents. They just are like, peace.
They know they see the writing on the wall, and they are privileged enough, frankly, to be able to just leave, right? They've made a ton of money. They can leave.
And imagine they have made their employees' lives a living hell because you're a product manager, whatever. It sounds like you're a director. You're one of the game directors, and you are trying to get this asshole to review your work. And you have to wait for weeks at a time while the whole team is just sitting on their laurels, even though the release date is really rapidly approaching. And you deal with this asshole for years and you go home and you tell your wife or you gripe to your partner, like, dude, every day this stupid idiot won't like do his job and like look over this stuff. And then when he does, he just scrapes huge portions of it, which I loved that. That was another thing he would do is he'd come in and be like, no, I don't like any of this. Actually, let's add cars. And we'd have customizable cars. He clearly had just played one game of Rocket League and decided we'll put Rocket League in Suicide Squad.
Dude.
They work on this for months and months and months, and then they're like, this actually sucks, and they scrape it. And then one day, you just get an email that this guy just fucking left. And you're like, what the fuck have I been doing? That guy robbed people's lives. Yeah. Years of their lives.
Agreed.
And then he just fucking pieced. Anyway, so this another quote from this article, and then we'll move on. Multiple people who worked on the project say their growing concerns were often met with promises from management that Suicide Squad would eventually coalesce at the last minute, just as the Arkham games had.
It's magic.
Some of the employees adopted the term, quote, toxic positivity to describe the culture at the company, which discouraged criticism. You remember where that term comes from, where I've heard it, is Ted Lasso. That's what is I think Ted Lasso's therapist kind of comes to conclude is that he's got this toxic positivity about him. And I can't imagine working at a place where critique and criticism, like a video game studio, a movie studio, anyone that's producing something like this, like a product like this, you need critique, you need editing. That's like how it works. I can't imagine how frustrating that would be to be met with like, hey, I've got some concerns. And they're like, well, we don't do concerns here at Rocksteady. We just do positivity. It's like, cool. Well, the game's crashing every time you press X. So positive your way out of that one, assholes.
Okay. And then real quick, just the basics of this story that just killed me. Just at its core, they seemed legitimately surprised that this game was a failure. They were like, ah, man, like this game did way worse than we thought it would. I want to go back to the first time we saw Shark Boy with a gun. And everyone was like, wait, this is a multiplayer shooter, like looter game? And they were like, yeah, that's
what giant humanoid shark has a gun. How cool is that?
Yeah, but he like bites things. That's what he does. But no, we mentioned this forever. Everyone knew this would be a failure. And to put this into perspective, Marvel's Avengers was a terrible game. Yeah. That game reportedly lost, I looked it up, $63 million.
Oh, so
this
it wasn't
game
9 figures,
lost
just
200 million. Yet this is one of the biggest failures in gaming. What a disaster. And they're like, who could have known? Everybody knew. That's the thing that drives me crazy.
It's more than Waterworld.
We all knew.
Waterworld was 175 million.
Oh.
This was a bigger loss than Kevin Costner's Waterworld, you
guys. Like, I can't understate how big of a disaster this was. And
this may be the biggest loss in video game history.
How much this could have been averted if they would have just listened to literally anybody.
Anyone.
We are nobodies, and we were like, this game is going to fail. Like, we already know it. This game's going to fail. And it did. I mean, I say we're nobodies, but we often just manifest the future by saying things out loud. So maybe it's because we said this game was going to fail that it failed.
Look, dude, it's to the game industry's detriment that they don't listen to this podcast more.
I emailed them one time. I was like, dear game industry, we predict the future. I don't know what to tell you.
But here's the thing, is that were they to listen to this podcast and, more importantly, take heed the advice of this podcast, we wouldn't have anything to talk about. What would we talk about at that point?
That's true.
If everything was going right in the industry, we would just
shop. We just call the podcast Dear Game Devs, and we'd just be like putting ideas into the world, and they'd be happening.
I get my railroad survival crafting game.
No. Dude, JD is on a kick now. That's what he wants.
Multiversus has found a cheat code for unlimited money by just having the game automatically buy skins for players. Genius. This is a Blursty nominee for Blurst Bug, possibly Blurst feature. Because this kind of seems more like a feature. Blurs for them. Looks like, from what I was able to glean Multiversus, sorry to rewind a little bit. If you guys aren't familiar, Multiversus is the Smash Brothers game featuring Warner Brothers properties. So everything from Game of Thrones to Scooby-Doo to Adventure Time to what else we got in there? Iron Giant, Superman, all sorts of
Rick
shit.
and Morty.
Just crammed in there. If Warner Brothers has it, is it one of their IPs that's in this dumb game. And it's not been super well received. In fact, it came out last year, was so poorly received, they just closed it up.
I had a little bit of fun
with
with it, but then they like it like went up, ramped up real quick, then died down. Then they were like, all right, thanks. We're gonna close down the beta till we release the game, which isn't typically what happens, but that's what they did. And then they re-released it, and it was not better. Not better.
It did have a decent amount of players.
Yeah,
if you look
of course,
at like their Steam charts,
people want to check it out.
Free to play, but of those few players they do have, who they were able to convince to come back, they're just screwing them because there's this bug where if you're browsing the store, randomly it just starts like clicking on shit. And it just buys stuff for you, spends a bunch of your like premium currency that you bought.
That the premium currency you've been unlocking by playing the game.
Yeah, the only people that this will affect are like the big fans of the game. Because if you and I were playing, we wouldn't have any of the premium currency. You'd try to buy these things automatically and you'd be like, oh, you don't have enough funds. And we'd be like, yeah, we know. Why did it try to do that? But no, this is only really screwing over the people that they need to play their game. And the best part is because customer service, I'm sure, has been gutted at this company, just like everywhere else.
Yeah, everywhere.
And so they actually can't respond well. They probably have AI doing most of the job. So instead of like issuing refunds or rapidly responding to what is clearly a big issue that's upsetting people, they're just saying, "Oh, okay, well, we'll send it to the engineering team. Sorry." And that's it. So people are getting really pissed. And this isn't something you get like a do-over on. Is if I have actually saved up, or I've put $20, I've connected my credit card to your service and put $20 into this, and you spend it for me on something I don't want.
On like a emote.
I'm probably out right there. But if I take the time to write in a customer service ticket to say, hey, if you rectify this, I will re-spend this money on your product or service. And they tell me to pound sand.
They say, oh, customer service can't help you.
And AI tells me just some random, just prepackaged response that doesn't really address my issue. My favorite time when you get those responses and they have a little thing in the bottom that says, did this help you? And you're like, no. And they're like, sorry. And then it dies there. It's so fucking unhelpful. It's like doubly unhelpful. It's like, hey, did our unhelpful response not help? And I'm like, no, it didn't. They're like, oh, that sucks too. And then it just closes it out. You're like,
and it's just
like, who's getting that report of how bad your reports are? Because they fired that guy too.
It goes to nobody. It just dies in the ether. If you put positive stuff, then it goes on to the customer support team. If you put negative on stuff, they're like, we don't know what to do with this. We don't even have a vehicle for this information to get back to us.
So yeah, Multiversus, which I think I predicted a week or two ago would do well. I'm losing faith.
In Peterson Stradamus.
Oh, come on.
Was like,
get out of here.
No, it's a thing. Peter Stradamus.
Peter Stradamus.
I don't think I have one of those.
Trans bullets in Call of Duty are the latest right-wing conspiracy rage bait.
This is story of the week.
This is real good. This is Call of Duty has released a new weapon blueprint, I guess. Is it called Soul Harvester? Is that what it's called?
I think so. I think that's what
it is. The one
yeah.
The conspiracy nuts who are obsessed with the demonic imagery apparently everywhere. They're going to love this one.
Oh,
it's called Soul Harvester, and it shoots bullets apparently that are featuring the transgender flag, which is like the blue, pink, white flag. Or apparently that's how the story goes. Yeah. That's how the rage bait goes. This comes from tweets. If you're familiar with, I think it's called Libs of TikTok. It's just like a rage bait account on Twitter that posts like fake stuff. It's like fake shit that they're like, look at what the libs are doing today. And it's like, you made that. It like has your watermark on it. You clearly made that. So this one is there is this new skin, and I think just it's either through a glitch or just how it's shaded that when you go to reload it, the magazine you're gonna load, the bullets in the magazine look like they have a trans flag painted on them, because isn't the whole gun like painted like a trans flag?
Yeah, the whole gun is blue, pink, and white.
Who cares about the fucking bullets? The whole thing is like, who are you so focused? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're focused on the bullets, because this is another thing that floats around the right-wing conspiracy nutjob sphere, is this idea. And I saw when I Googled it, this is a story that I guess Donald Trump told in his campaign when he was on the stump in 2016. Perfect. Is that some mid-century general dipped bullets in pig's blood and shot Islamists, shot apparently Donald Trump keeps calling them terrorists, says that it's interchangeable with Muslims, which is, I'm not even gonna fucking go there. But this idea that if you shoot people with a certain bullet, it's like an extra curse on them. Which I'm like, okay. Say that that's a true story, which it's fucking not. Say that that's a real thing, which it's not.
Yes.
The idea that this now translates into Call of Duty.
Yes.
Dude. And if you get shot in Call of Duty with these quote unquote trans bullets, anything fucking happens.
I think you turn so trans.
Incredible. You turn trans?
I think,
or do you die in real life?
I think if I understand how I'm reading it, your character in the game actually turns into a transgender.
What if you get shot twice? Is it switching back and forth rapidly as someone's shooting you with an automatic rifle?
Yes.
And your dick is constantly falling off and regrowing. Like, what is happening?
I think I'm not great at this stuff. I think that's called gender fluid at this point. So I think that's how it works.
Well, I'm getting educated by the right-wing blogosphere, so I'm pretty sure you're right. I think that's what it is.
No, that's what happens. So they're calling them, like, of course they're freaking out because there was like a transgender school shooter or something like that. I can't remember. I don't know what it was, but they're like, the trans terrorists are coming for us, and this is just another way they're doing it. I don't know why. I think this is the funniest thing ever. Like, I don't know what they think the agenda is here, that you're going to shoot people with trans bullets. I promise you, if they were American flag bullets, there would be no issue. They'd be like, this is great. Patriots.
It turns you instantly democratic right before you die.
Turn them into a Republican right now.
Love freedom. And
dude, this is
like, what the fuck? Oh, I love guns and Jesus. Thanks for shooting you with that America bullet.
Thanks for shooting me with the America bullet, the America rounds. But yeah, dude, I think your character turns trans, or maybe you turn trans in real life. I think that's how it works. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's how
trans in Call of Duty, you actually are trans in real life.
Yeah. So I think that's how it works. It's this, I can't believe Call of Duty is doing this to our to the good people in the Call of Duty forums, who are known to be the best types of gamers out there.
Oh, goodness, yes. Oh, I'm sure this is gonna go over. Some of these tweets, I have to read some of these tweets that are in response, because they're just amazing. This is a good one. I hope the families who lost loved ones sue.
What?
I would love to see the text of that lawsuit.
I don't even know the context of that lawsuit.
No. But when you have this brain rot, that's the thing, is there's like this like long, very long, it's like a soap opera that these people have followed for the last like 10 years plus, that it starts with Obama being born in Kenya. And now somehow we've got, there was Gamergate in the middle of that. Now we've got transgender bullets in Call of Duty, and it's all connected. It's all this big web of brain rot. Here's another one.
Okay, if you worked at Call of Duty, though, would you be tempted to put like a furry bullet in there?
And when you shoot someone with it, a little tail comes out of the back of their pants.
Why do I have ears? You're
in a full furry costume. And then there's like, you have to stop. You have like a litter box meter, and you have to stop at the litter boxes that are around the maps. And the right wingers are like, dude, I knew they'd put litter boxes in Call of Duty. I knew it was going to happen. It's so woke.
I want a school map in any game that just has litter boxes In the
school map.
in
See,
the
now that's
school.
an accurate Call of Duty game. You go around to school shooting people.
Just shooting. Yeah.
I
Oh
guess
my
another
gosh.
quote, absolutely unacceptable. Should be sued into oblivion to set an example. It's disgusting to pre-program people. So I think you're wrong. I don't think they think if you get shot with these bullets, you turn trans. It's if you use them.
Mm.
If you use this free skin, because this skin was free, which is another reason they're trying to get your kids with free transgender bullets. Just like in the 90s, we were always given free drugs, and now we're all a bunch of potheads and
Dude,
fentanyl and whatnot.
So much demonic stuff too in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
Like I rolled dice one time.
We should have heeded their warnings. And
And
now
I
you're a
was like-
degenerate gambler.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I was like, "Oh, you're playing D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons. That's like the devil right there. The devil plays that." So I did worship the devil for a time when I was rolling dice.
That's a good
as
point.
a child. So
yeah, once you use the transgender skin in Call of Duty, that's like doing a seance. Quote, boycott it. Let's get a list of non-woke games.
Oh, here we go. Dude, we've been down this road before. That was a thing just like 6 months ago. They were like making a list of non-woke games. Like we're back at it. Just
okay, here's my
they want all games
one
to be that game that is the and it was just in Summer Game Fest where it's the body cam and it's like realistic and like really shooting. It looks like it's like really shooting people like in the Middle East. Like they want all games to be that.
Yeah, I just want to shoot brown people.
Shoot
That's
Muslims.
the only non-woke game. Here's a great one. This one's fucking amazing. This is, I was delving deep into the Twitter pile. Okay, I'm so glad I pawned my PS5 to get a loan to pay my rent. As soon as I can get out, I'm deleting. Get it out. I'm deleting. I'm tired of that game being so woke. So I went into the comments on this because people had replied to him and they were like, wait, are you seriously bragging about pawning your PS5 to pay rent? And he's like, yeah, welcome to the real world, bitch. People have to do shit. What are you, some wokey? I was like, are you serious? This guy legitimately was like putting it all out there. You don't have no one held a gun to your head and told you.
Yeah.
You could have just said, I'm going to delete this off my PS5. No one knows you pawned it. Twitter police aren't going to bust you.
You're not, and let's be honest, you're not getting it back. Yeah, I know you pawned it, but the pawn shop owns that PS5 now.
And this is the last one. This one will make sense to probably no one. Quote, anyone else want to bet puberty blocking pharmaceuticals contain psychotropics that can trigger acts of violence in those who take them? I wonder if violent video games such as Call of Duty is one of the catalysts that sets the whole thing off. What? This person lives in a fucking movie.
Okay. I would have to think for 4 hours straight to try to make sense of this. Okay. So Call of Duty, the bullets are blue pink. Okay, so this is like the transgender flag colors. Like I'd sit here and be like,
so
okay,
if you use this gun in Call of Duty and you've already taken puberty blocking pharmaceuticals,
this is the start. Call of Duty's the start, though.
It kicks it all off, and it's like Zoolander
gosh.
when he hears "relax," and then you have to kill the Malaysian prime minister.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think,
dude?
He just puts this out there. It's just like a question into the ether.
If there's one thing I know about the liberals is that they are huge proponents of school shootings. that I think
if you can't beat them, kill them.
There is no uproar by the liberals whenever there's a school shooting. I don't think
they're just like thoughts and prayers. And then in fact, I think they're like
the
more guns.
Conservatives are the ones who are really anti-school shooting. They're like, in fact, they're so anti, they don't even believe that they happen.
They're so anti, they're boycotting PlayStation. They're boycotting Call of Duty once their PlayStation 5 gets out of the pawn shop.
Once I can get it back, dude, it's just like if this one job interview lines up, I think I can get my PlayStation back.
What the fuck is Twitter? What is Twitter anymore?
Dude,
what is Twitter?
Don't go there. That's my advice. Don't go to Twitter unless you're doing research for a parody story.
Because I gotta say, full disclosure, this was fringe. A lot. I didn't mean a lot of responses, even to the libs of TikTok, Twitter, which is like notoriously very right wing.
Yeah.
The followers of this account who engage with their content and enjoy it were like, dude, what the fuck are you on about? I'm talking like the farthest right-wing people out there were still like, dude, get a grip. To everyone that was like, yeah, they were like, dial it back. You guys are nuts. And some of them were like, dude, that skin is sick. That is a cool skin. Can we get more like that?
Yeah, it has like animations when the bullets hit and stuff like
yeah.
It's pretty cool.
No, this is the fringiest fringe of shit. Maybe we should have led with that. Because people we were mocking,
we like this.
Yeah, I'm not mocking like the general right-wing conservative, which, for other reasons. But for this one, even they were like, dude.
All right, dial it back.
Making us look bad.
We just want F. Joe Biden flags on the cars. Like, that's it. Can we get that skin?
Pokemon fan conventions in the Philippines is the latest Fyre Fest.
Okay, did you look into this very much?
Yeah, not very much. This is a Pokeverse, which is a fan-run convention in the Philippines. Any fan-run convention is going to be great. And it took place between May 31st to June 2nd at the SM Mega Mall in Mandaluyong.
So there were high promises. Okay, so why it's making a connection to Fyre Fest. Big promises for this convention. And none of those promises are met. Some of my favorite highlights or lowlights are people walked in. First of all, they opened the doors 2 hours late. They did a ribbon cutting ceremony. People showed up 2 hours early.
Oh.
And then the ribbon cutting ceremony happened 2 hours late. When people got there, they were still like tying the ribbons. And they opened the doors finally. You've been waiting for 4 hours at this point. Open the doors finally to an empty hall. An empty hall. And I'm looking at pictures of this convention. I don't even know if you can call it convention. Everything's just like big empty rooms. There was like an artist gallery where you could buy the artwork. The artwork were on the wall, like legitimately 20 feet away from the booth. You had to just like walk so far to even get the price for it. And there was nothing in between, just empty white space throughout the whole
perfect
thing.
Convention.
So, and then I don't know if you read the Make-A-Wish part of it. So as part of this, and this was never part of the schedule, they brought in a bunch of Make-A-Wish kids. And fans were freaking out like, you cannot bring immunocompromised kids to a convention. They put these kids up on stage and everyone's like, please get these kids out of here.
Like, yeah, what's the deal? They're dying anyway. And the kids are like, what?
Like, we know we're going to get sick at this convention. Like, we're going to be sick. Let's see, a couple other highlights. There was a Pokemon themed baking session. Okay, it was not people thought it was going to be like a class. It was not a class. It was a two guys bakers who taking commissions for their Pokemon themed baked goods. Same thing with the artists. They did an art classes. They were like Pokemon art classes. Learn how to draw Pokemon. No, it was just you went up and they were selling art.
Money.
They were trying to sell their Pokemon art on the stage. These were the events. Just pretty funny. The whole thing was a disaster. Like, come play on the inflatables. And it was like the tiniest. I'm talking like inflatable the size like I could fit in your office, JD, right there where you're recording. You could probably fit 12 of them.
This is like, what was it, TumblerCon or whatever it was, where they had the ball pit, but it was just like a kiddie pool with a couple balls in it.
Yes.
This is that just keeps happening over and over again. Did you mention the cost of this thing, though?
No.
This is in the Philippines, so it was the equivalent of between $43 and $255. Dude, that's fucking nuts. I'm pretty sure FanX is like less than that, isn't it?
I think
FanX is like $35 or something. $43 for this.
And that wasn't even. So then, like, if you get the VIP package, apparently that meant nothing. You pay extra for a VIP package, it meant zero. You didn't do anything with it. There was nothing with the VIP package. Like everything that could go wrong went wrong. And there's a on Twitter. Let's see, it's at Bintu Rita, BintuRita. She does a full extensive tweet about it, like tons of stuff. She's cited in the article that we're looking at, but it is hilarious. Go read it. It truly is the Fyre Fest of conventions that just happened over in the Philippines. I mean, like the big sections, there were huge sections that had nothing to do with Pokemon. They were just people selling Zodiac, like Year of the Dragon type of stuff, of gear. It had nothing to do with Pokemon. And like I'm talking giant sections of the floor. Yeah. I would have been pissed. So Fyre Fest, Pokemon Fyre Fest.
Don't go to the first year of any con. Just don't. Get the FOMO. If it goes well, great. If not, it's Fyre Fest. And you don't want to be there.
And look, we've been to a few conventions, and sometimes you're just not missing anything. You know what I mean?
Sometimes... Yeah, we've been to some weird conventions where we were personally involved and things went to shit. So
and I hated it. I hated it.
So yeah, just don't worry about it. Just stay away until you hear that everyone went and had a great time.
And then they're renewing next year. Then you can go.
Then you can go buy your ticket. $43. Good Lord.
I'm sorry to inform you. Welcome to another company reset. Hope you've updated your resume. You've just been laid off.
You guys thought they were done. No. We're in June. 6 more months of layoffs before next year when we start a fresh new 12 months of layoffs. We will lay people off until morale improves. Dude. Or until you make us another great game. Why haven't you made Hogwarts Legacy 2 yet? Layoffs.
Oh, what game did you release this year? Nothing. Oh, we're currently working on
layoffs.
It. Nothing. Gone. Layoffs. Laid off.
Oh, you didn't release a game this year? Then why do you need QA? Fire all of them.
Laid off.
You didn't release a game this year? You don't need customer service either. Fire all of them.
Oh, they're talking about unionizing? Okay. Out of here.
Here we go. There's another 100 people we can easily lose. We only had one this week. I guess only, but it's 95 employees. So
let me be honest, though. We have skipped loads of these because there's been a whole bunch of just like small layoffs that I was.
Yeah, we don't report on every single one.
I don't want to cover them anymore. Talking dozens. There's been a whole bunch of studios shut down, people laid off. So
yeah, there's definitely gaps in between the ones that we report on. So don't think we're comprehensive.
We've gotten to the point where like, oh, it's like less than 200 people. Forget us like nothing. Forget about this.
Yeah, I don't get out of bed unless it's 50 people or more. 50 lives destroyed. That's what gets me up. Behavior Interactive is they just do a ton of licensed games. If I'm seeing this correctly, the first game they ever did was The Grinch in 2000, and that's like what they do. And they make pretty decent games here and there, but they are. I guess they announced some structural changes to pursue a, quote, clarified vision. Guys, you don't have to bullshit us. It's not like this is like...
I do wish I could see a layoff where it was just like...
We screwed up.
Honestly, we're not going to hit quarterly profits. That's the only way we do it. So, sorry.
Exactly. Yeah.
Instead, they're like, we're going to rebalance the organization. And the
clarified vision. Guys, there's not some like magical formula of words that makes people feel better about getting laid off. So don't even fucking try it.
No, babe, I did get laid off. I did, but it was a clarified
vision. And I'll tell my bank that when I can't fucking make my mortgage payment this year. Like, oh, but my former boss said that they were working on a clarified vision. So that's pretty cool.
Oh,
right?
You're at Behavior Interactive. Oh, God. Yeah, no, you're good.
No, that's totally cool.
Good. Yeah, it was quite the vision.
And they said, quote, however, they said, this release, they say we were doing really well. Quote, however, the industry's unprecedented popularity has also led to unprecedented competition. So it's not any of our fault. We're doing great. But
we were doing great. We were doing so good when no one else was making anything.
Yeah, that's not as big of a brag as you think it is.
These morons jumped into this industry, and now we're gone.
They're making us look bad.
Honestly, it's if you want to blame somebody, blame the other game companies that released video games. Blame them. They're the ones who did this to you, not us.
They forced this clarified vision upon us. This counts for about 70, of the 95 people, 70 of them will be in Montreal. I feel like Montreal's getting hit pretty fucking hard.
Dude, does anybody have a job in Montreal?
Not in the video games.
It's just like thousands of homeless programmers walking the streets of Montreal.
I will make skins for food.
They're like, they got like their portfolio up. They're like, check out these Fortnite skins. You can put this in Fortnite.
I can work on any live service game you want. I swear to God.
It's so good.
It's really the best. And they're back now. I think you can actually go to Applebee's if you can find one within 500 miles of your home.
Oh, there's an Applebee's by me, and I don't eat there. I don't eat there, but
go there and get some riblets. Do it for the podcast.
I think they're doing riblets because of inflation or shrinkflation. They're like, we can't.
But they're calling them ribs.
We can't.
They line them all up and call it a rack of ribs. You're like, I don't think that's what this is.
I remember ribs being bigger, and they're like, oh, because when you were small, you were smaller.
I remember when ribs would they would all connect. They would be like a rack of ribs. So like, no, I'm pretty sure that's not how it is.
It's never been like that. That is the Mandela
They've always
effect.
been small. You ever seen a cow or a lizard or whatever we get these off of?
The lizard ribs.
Riblets are news stories that aren't really worth a full rack of ribs, and they're just little guys. First up, Tekken director Katsuhiro Harada asks about Waffle House again.
I don't know if you guys have been tracking this story, but it is hilarious.
Basically, people keep demanding that they make Waffle House, the restaurant, a level in Tekken, the fighting game, because Waffle House is such a frequent venue for fights.
For just like brawls and just big fights between employees, and
a lot of the times it's
customers.
Employees beating the shit out of customers. And it's always fair fights. The employees never come out with skillets. They just throw hands. And they usually kick ass because they work at Waffle House.
The employees at Waffle House are legit. Like, you don't fight them. If someone's like, yeah, work at Waffle House, you're like, I'm so sorry, bro. Like, what do you want? You want my wallet?
Dude, they tell you that in orientation. If this is your first shift at Waffle House, you have to fight.
It's on the application. How many fights have you been in? Like fist fights. And they're like, if you say less than 5, they're like, I don't think you should work. Like, we would love to hire you, but I don't think this is the place for you.
The first rule of Waffle House is you don't talk about Waffle House. So this guy keeps getting bombarded by these trolls online who, the more the fight videos that get posted from Waffle House, the less they look like trolls. Because I'm just going to read this whole tweet because it's from him and it's so funny. This is the tweet from Katsuhiro Harada. I have already received a lot of, tons of information from everyone about this store before. But let me ask one question from a different angle this time. Why do fights like this between wait staff and customers happen so often in the restaurant? I have never seen plates and chairs flying around like this, especially in Japan. And the composition is not customer versus customer, but customer versus waiter. I don't think this is simply because it's, quote, open 24 hours and there's many drunks. What kind of culture is this? There's something you can't grasp by taking over 70 business trips to the U.S. I need to learn more about American society. Brother, you're getting a crash course in American society right here. We have designated fight zones.
Here's
just like
thing.
Designated PvP areas in video games. That's the Waffle House.
It's just a thing you understand. It is a cultural thing you understand. And like, he's trying to understand the why of it. And I think you would have to do several comprehensive studies to figure out the why of it. Because, yeah, you're like, yeah, I don't know. So the drunk people like late at night eating waffles, like they get together. Then he's like, I don't think that's it. And I think there is more to it than that. And
Absolutely.
I could pinpoint it if you wanted me to. It's just a thing. And it has become a thing unto itself where people go there knowing that, like, hey, I might get in a fight today. I want some waffles. I'm drunk and I might get in a fight with the server.
I'm feeling punchy. feeling very chippy. I had a bad day. I might go throw a plate at a Waffle House employee, and I'll pay for it.
And that person's gonna fight me back.
Yeah, no, it's not like I'm just going to abuse. You want to go abuse a customer service person, you go to like fucking Chick-fil-A or like Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
You go to get in a fist fight, you go to Waffle House.
Dude. And so there's this Japanese guy. He's like, this doesn't happen in Japan. And we're like, brother, it doesn't happen here either. It only happens at Waffle House.
Dude, I
don't know why.
Like it is actually going to show up in fucking Tekken. Just like some it's just some tongue-in-cheek, just like little tiny thing. And that's going to be it. We're going to have a breakfast restaurant level in Tekken.
It would be brilliant. Honestly, Katsuhiro's going to be like, I need to go visit a Waffle House at 3 a.m. And I think he's going to get in a fight. And that's how it starts.
He'll just get in a fight just for the experience, just like something you do when in Rome.
Like he'll get his waffle and he'll be like, excuse me.
I would like to fight.
This waffle is not up to my standards. And then the Waffle House employee just starts taking off his apron.
Taking off their apron. Right. They're like, this is what we're doing tonight. And he's like, wow, it's just that easy. I'm like, yeah. You go to Waffle House, get your ass kicked.
The guy's like, I'm so sorry. You wanted to fight, right? And he's like, yeah. Katsuhiro's like, I guess.
You closed your menu.
Yeah.
Billboard, the billboard outside. Outside the Summer Game Fest is paying tribute to those who have lost their jobs. I like this. This is a billboard that there was Summer Games Fest is in LA. Is that where it is? Someone bought a billboard, big billboard on the side of a building, and they're running an ad. It's like a glitchy text ad. It looks almost like the billboard is like hacked, kind of like that's the style. It says "Gone but not forgotten," and the list includes a number of game studios where people were either like laid off or the studio was shut down.
Arcane Austin, Tango Gameworks, those types of things.
Everyone laid off, downsized, and made redundant. We love you. We miss you. We hate money.
That's what it says.
I like that. I can't. I got nothing to add. I got nothing to add.
And it's another game studio who rented this out, and it it's sad. And also, like, it's like, in Hunger Games when they do the like sign to Katniss with the 3 fingers, and they,
you hope someone gets shot in the chest with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, like
I hope the assholes responsible for this get murdered.
Well, they're definitely losing their jobs. Like this studio's getting shut down within 2 weeks, guaranteed. But it's sad, but also like, hey man, heartwarming, because like this sucks. And I like that other people are acknowledging like,
yep,
our industry is a disaster right now.
Yeah, because that's the first step to fixing it, is that people actually acknowledge that something's wrong. And I think this has been I think the trend chasing from all these executives who we've proven demonstrably on this podcast are know-nothings and sociopaths. The fact that they're making these decisions just because their buddies are making these decisions to essentially ruin the lives of thousands, tens of thousands of people in this industry. I think there's definitely going to be repercussions here. And it's not just going to be like, oh, a brain drain. Like there's going to be some pushback. Next up, Linux user share on Steam has broken 2% thanks to the Steam Deck. This is a tiny little story. That is the whole story.
I don't understand it.
So the Steam Deck doesn't run on Windows operating system or any other traditional. It runs on Linux.
Okay.
And so the number of people who are playing Steam on Linux has now crossed 2%.
Got it.
Usually it was much lower than that because it was just essentially PC gamers who have a PC that runs on Linux versus Windows or Mac OS. So 2% is actually pretty big if you think about Linux.
Absolutely.
How many people actually run Linux? I can't see that, but it's, oh, hey, looks like 3% desktop user share according to Stat Counter. That's pretty high. Anyway, I think it's interesting that the Steam Deck, it just shows how many people are using the Steam Deck, which is kind of cool. And the last thing here, Microsoft is going to remaster Halo Combat Evolved again and is considering a PS5 release. This is according to Tom Warren at The Verge. I think it speaks to Nostradam Peterson and his prediction that Xbox wants to put their games on everything.
Did you say Nostradamus Peterson?
Yeah,
Like instead of the us,
Domerson.
you just substituted Peterson
Last
for
name, yeah.
us. Like
I am tired.
that was one of your worst word mashups I've ever heard. But honestly, I kind of love it. Nostradamus Peterson.
Yeah, it fucking works.
It flows off the tongue.
It rolls right off the tongue. Peterson predicted that PlayStation wants, or that Xbox wants all their games on PlayStation and Nintendo. And I think it's wild. I mean, even a couple years ago, to think of Halo, of all games, the most like
the most
famous
Xbox of the Xboxes.
Microsoft game of all time. The idea that it's going on PlayStation, even the concept of that is mind blowing. But it also, to me, shows the desperation that Microsoft is displaying.
That's it
to make
That's it.
anything work, because Phil Spencer is just filling his pants with shit every fucking day. That's what he does. He wakes up and shits his pants from dawn till dusk.
And he doesn't ever change them. That's the thing. No. He doesn't ever change his pants.
Goes to bed in shitty pants, wakes up in shitty shorts. Dude, Phil Spencer is blowing it. And this is his latest.
Blowing it right at his backside.
This is like a wad of toilet paper he's like stuffed into his pants. And he's like, maybe this will fix it.
This story for me is just a too little too late. Like,
oh,
who cares? Who cares? Like, maybe if you would
toilet paper isn't going to help you at this point, dude.
If you announced this a decade ago, we would have been like, holy crap, this is huge.
Yeah.
But now we're just like, yeah, you guys are trying to get all your stuff out there. We all know that that's what you're trying to do. We're surprised PlayStation lets your garbage in there now. Halo used to be good. It's not good anymore.
Yeah.
Like you should have got that on PlayStation back in friggin' 2001. You know what I mean?
It's got the same energy as when they were like, hey, you know how aliens and UFOs are real? And everyone's like, eh. Everyone's like, I don't fucking care anymore.
Like, no, it's the thing. And we're like, dude,
it gives
why didn't you announce this like so much sooner?
This could have been helpful a couple years ago.
But we've got like, and we stopped caring about everything.
The planet's got like 10 years, 15 max left. Who gives a fuck about the aliens?
Are the aliens here right now? Are they here right now?
Are they going to come fix climate change? Are they going
to come take me away? Because I'll leave. I'll leave right now.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, this place sucks. Are they taking us? Are they coming to defeat us? Because like we're doing a great job of that on our own.
They came and left. Like that's not interesting. I want to leave too. Like, can I be an alien? I want to leave. Yeah. So yeah, we just didn't care. We just didn't care.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if we get Halo PlayStation. Kudos. Positivity segment. Giving shout outs to things that have made us happy this week. Peterson, what have you got for us?
Mine's just a TV mini series, and I'll preface it by saying it's not even the best TV miniseries, but I enjoyed watching it. It was, how many episodes was it? I can't see how many episodes it was, but it wasn't a lot of episodes. Six episodes.
Okay.
Easy to watch. And they were all like hour-ish long. So, lasted me a few nights. But it's called a TV show a series called A Man in Full. This stars what's his name? Jeff Daniels is the main character.
Okay.
He is a real estate tycoon, business ethics. The ethics of business are Jeff Daniels is he is a real estate tycoon in Atlanta, Georgia. Made just a ton of money, and then the bank is out to get him. That's the premise of it, and he is forced to declare bankruptcy. They're trying to take everything he's got. His life's a disaster. Things are nuts, and that's it. That's the premise. Like, it's not even that interesting of a premise. Of course, Jeff Daniels, which we're finding out, is just a fantastic actor. I've seen him in a bunch of different stuff. When he was in like a cowboy guy in Godless, I think it was called. It was like really great. Mm-hmm. So he's actually a much better actor than I thought when I knew him in just Dumb and Dumber. So yeah, that's it. That's the premise of it. It's interesting. It's riveting. They keep you a little bit. They keep you engaged. Um, yeah, I really liked it. So, like I said, it's not the best show you're gonna watch, but it is absolutely worth watching. It's got like a 6.5 IMDb rating, so it's like
real high.
middle of the pack. Again, it's not like amazing, and the end is pretty good. It's not like funny or anything like that, but yeah, it is like you're watching and you're like, I don't even know why I like this, but I do really like it. And you're into it. And Jeff Daniels just pissed the whole time. And then you do just a warning, quick warning. You do see a gigantic erection at the end of the last episode. So
Okay.
if you don't want to see that, don't watch it. But I didn't mind.
Who would? It's gigantic.
It was very large.
Appreciate
That was like a whole thing, and you're like, oh my gosh. So anyways, A Man in Full. Check it out. I think it's on Netflix. Yeah, it's good. It's interesting. The characters are wild.
See a big boner.
Yeah, just at the end. You got to watch all the way to the end. You see a big boner.
You gotta eat your vegetables to see the boner.
Um,
Speaking of eating, I have a kudos for food. I have a foodos.
There we go.
And I am so hyped on this one. Wasatch Pizza is a pizza joint that was a big part of my childhood. They used to have a location. It used to be a buffet. They had like a buffet and a salad.
What happened
bar.
to the pizza buffets? They used to be
I
so
don't know.
great, and now they're the only one that's Pizza Pie Cafe, and it's terrible.
It used to be a very common business model. Pizza cafes were all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
Well, this one, there was one up on the east side that I used to go to, and it closed, and so many of them closed. So many. There used to be a bunch. And I found out a year or two ago that it still existed. And they were famous for their barbecue chicken pizza. So a couple years ago, I went and grabbed one for Jenna and I, and it was great. It slapped, and it was really good. But for some reason, we didn't go back. It's the only one that is left now in Utah that exists is in Taylorsville. It's right off the freeway, off that Redwood Road exit on 215. So it's like pretty easy to get to for most of the places in the valley. And I gotta say, everyone should go. If you're within 15 minutes of this place, it is worth going to pick it up. We got one. I can't even remember what it was called. Is it the Widowmaker? Black Diamond Widowmaker.
Okay.
And it was, so first of all, we got the 18-inch because I'm an idiot and didn't realize how big 18 inches is.
It never sounds that big, and then
it doesn't sound that big.
Yeah.
But it is huge.
Yep.
In my mind, 18 inches is like this, but it's more like this.
And if that's only for the people who are watching on YouTube, because the audio that made no sense.
I'm describing a fish that I caught. So this pizza had barbecue base, like a barbecue sauce base with mozzarella, pepperoni, honeyed ham, Italian sausage, salami, beef, and pineapple. And then they candy it all. So they cover it in like some sugar sauce, and then they bake it. And it is candied. So basically all the meat is candied. The pineapple is candied. I know Peterson's not a fan of pineapple on pizza, but this is essentially a meat lover's barbecue pineapple pizza. And
a candied meat lover's barbecue pineapple pizza.
God, it was the best pizza I've had in years. Literal years. Maybe the best slice of pizza I've ever had in Utah. They have other ones. They have a ton of other ones. They have a bunch of vegetarian pies, which is cool. They just have a ton of shit, and they're just like holding on. This was a big chain here in Utah. They had 8+ or something. They had a lot of locations, and they've whittled down to one, and it just slaps. It's still so amazing. And I don't know how long it'll last. Honestly, it may be gone next week. Who knows? Because they've all kind of slowly closed. But it was such a crazy trip. The only reason I remember I found out this still existed, because I just thought it was gone forever, is I saw a truck or something with their logo on it at a Walmart by my house, and was like, wait, what? Wasatch Pizza's still around? And I Googled them and found them. That was the last time, I went a couple years ago. But I realized that it was stupid to go once and enjoy it and not go back. And so I think we're going to be going back pretty regularly. It is. Oh my gosh.
Get the 12-inch.
Yeah. Don't get the 18-inch.
Unless you got a lot of, because these are the types of pizzas that are like, they're thicker and it's packed with toppings. Like,
well, no, this actually, lovely enough, is not a thick crust pizza. That the picture I showed you was just deceptive because it had so many effing toppings on it. It's had so much meat on it, but it is still like a kind of a traditional thinner crust. I don't know, dude. You got to go there. It's got 4.4 stars on Google with 528 reviews. It's just little and it's cheap. I mean, it's pretty cheap. That 18-inch pie was only like $27 and it was like completely covered and stuff. So, you guys got to go to Wasatch Pizza. It's the best pizza outside that weird place that Peterson goes.
Yeah. Well, that's just because I like those niche pies. So,
yeah. But this one definitely has kind of more traditional stuff. I don't know. Check out Wasatch Pizza. It's amazing. You guys got to try that shit. Taylorsville. Do it. Utah. Sorry if you're not here. Sorry. If you're in New Zealand, you're never going to try this pie. I'm so sorry.
They don't have a Wasatch, New Zealand, I don't think. Wasatch is a very Utah thing.
They don't. It's just here.
Error. No soundbite available.
Summer
Boobs.
Game Fest. I forgot the boobs part. Summer Game Fest 2024. We sat down and we watched a bunch of trailers.
Yeah,
Is this the Jeff Keighley thing? Is he doing that? Is that?
I think so. Yeah.
So E3 died, but we've got Microsoft doing their, what was it called? Showcase?
Xbox Showcase.
And then PlayStation might be doing something. Nintendo does something.
Yes, so they're all doing their own thing. Ubisoft Direct or whatever, Ubisoft Forward, I think it's called. They're doing their own. So Jeff, it's funny because Jeff Keighley, like, hey, we got this Summer Games Fest going on. It's going to be awesome. But like, quick heads up, it's not going to be the best one ever. That's what it's like, all right.
Wow.
He shut it down before it even started. But that being said, there were a couple announcements that were, interesting that I was interested in. So, yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of basically the games that weren't Xbox, PlayStation, Ubisoft were all kind of scooped up by this. And so, yeah, that's what we did. We looked at a bunch of trailers, new games coming out. First up here, I'm going to start with Harry Potter Quidditch Championship.
Okay, what are your thoughts?
I think it's in that traditional generic Fortnite art style. Looks exactly like Fortnite. It's the cartoony generic crap.
I wonder if that's like easy to
is. It must be. Everything's just kind of smooth, and you don't really have to show a lot of shadow or lighting effects
and probably like the animations are like pretty keyed in, like dialed in. That's what I'm thinking, because like there's a lot of movement in this game, and it might have been difficult to do it in like a more realistic art style. Like when they did Hogwarts Legacy, you'd put on certain outfits and like it'd be clipping through each other and stuff like that. Like that's a problem. But
and this is obviously a game that's going to have a lot of skins and shit. It's definitely going to be a live service nightmare.
100%. What do you think about the game in general?
Well, didn't see a lot of gameplay. It looked like from the few seconds in this trailer of gameplay that you have like an over-the-shoulder perspective.
Yeah.
The trailer didn't reveal much, although the trailer did reveal that they are taking the coward's way out in the Harry Potter license, which is to actually include Harry Potter himself and all the characters from Harry Potter to make sure that everyone, exactly. So you're cowards. You can't just trust like Hogwarts Legacy did that you're going to make a cool game within the unique world that some lunatic bitch created. And you have to make it about Harry Potter.
I would like this more if it wasn't about Harry Potter, because he was such a, like, in the stories, like he's comes in, he's never even seen Quidditch before, and he was like perfect at it right away. Like I don't really like that. And then, like Victor Crumb and stuff like that. Like I want it to be just characters you don't know anything about, and they kind of do their own thing. But here's my thoughts. First off, I probably said this before. Quidditch is the stupidest game ever. It could be cool, but they had to be like, what's Harry gonna do? He needs to be the hero with the whole golden snitch thing, which is the stupidest mechanic in any game that's ever been invented by anyone's brain. Because it was like you could have the whole team just sitting there like playing this intense game and be like, oh, Harry caught the golden snitch's mouth, and so we would win. And they're like, but we worked so hard. Like, no, it's worth 150 points. I don't care if you scored 9 goals. Harry wins. And so I hope they do something with that, because that's the stupidest game mechanic that's ever existed in any made-up game ever. So
I think that's the other issue I have with it. This is a made-up game created by a children's book.
Yeah. How are you going to make this good?
Yeah, how are you going to balance it? This isn't like a real game. It was supposed to be like goofy and quirky wizard nonsense. And it reminded me, and this is kind of a really crazy comparison to make, but in the Game of Thrones books, The Song of Ice and Fire, there was a chess-like equivalent game that was mentioned a lot. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, and there were like elephants you used. Tyrion played it a lot. And it was kind of used to show why Tyrion was so, tactically minded and wise. Do I think if George R. R. Martin sat down and made and designed that game, do I think it would get higher than a 5 on Board Game Geek? No, because you can't you can make up, as an author, you can make up a game and say it's a really it does this and it does that. I think and then you put it in a movie the same way. You can be like, yeah, you can show the dramatic moments of the match. But if you actually sit down and try to create a sports game, that's what this is it not? A sports video game out of a fictional sport that really wasn't that, like you said, it wasn't really well conceived. Even the scoring is nonsensical. The snitch being worth so much that negates the entire fucking point of the game.
Yep. Jake, I just read J.K. Rowling's favorite sport is American basketball. She is not American, so I don't know.
Me?
There we go. I got you back now.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. It says recording error. Do you want to?
It's going okay right
no,
now.
There we go. Okay. Okay. I think we're good again.
Yep.
So it's out September 3rd, and I don't know if it's going to be any good. I suspect it will be okay.
That's what I think. I think it will be a childish game.
Yeah, because in theory, I think conceptually it doesn't work for me. This is a fictional game.
If they sell this for $60, it will fail immediately.
Yeah.
This needs to be a free-to-play game.
But again, the concept of like the majority of the players working toward a point scoring system where unless you score 15 goals more than your opponent, you are always at risk of instantly losing.
Also, like, is it a multiplayer game? Because I feel like if you were like, great, I'm what's the guy who catches the golden snitch?
The Seeker.
If you were the Seeker, that would be the most boring game you could possibly play. Everyone's like hitting balls at each other and zipping around trying to score, and you're just like looking.
Yeah, and so like, you just choose a position? Is it like a class based? And this is coming out in September. This is like almost out, 3 months away.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen any. I haven't seen any alphas or betas or closed anything or open anything. So they're not testing it. They're just going to drop this on us.
It's not going to be good. That's my prediction.
No, this looks terrible.
Okay.
What else you got?
Okay, I got one. Since I only play hell-based games, No More Room in Hell 2.
Okay.
And the only reason this captured my interest was because it's a co-op zombie survival game, which we recently started playing 7 Days to Die again, just to see like the new content and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like survival games. I like where there's like, I don't care if it's a zombie game. I don't really care. I just want like a survival game. And if the antagonist or whatever is zombies, so be it. I'm okay with that. So if it's good, like I'll probably want to play it. It looked like it had all the things that I wanted to play in it. I guess No More Room in Hell. I didn't really know about that game before, but it was like it started off as a mod of Left 4 Dead 2, that type of thing. And so this one, then they made an actual game, and it's survival, crafting, co-op. So this could be a type of game that I'm into. So it's wish listed. I'll watch it. If it comes out and has good reviews, I'll probably end up playing it. If it comes out and the reviews are mixed, I definitely won't be playing it, because nothing is worse than a survival crafting game that is not great. Those games are horrible.
Because it's a grindy game in its very nature. So if the grind isn't fun, the whole game.
If you're having no fun, it's just like, this sucks. And so No More Room in Hell 2 on my wish list.
Power Rangers. This looks amazing. What was it called? Rita's Return or something?
Reversal? Or
Return
or Rewind.
Yeah.
Rita's Rewind.
Rita's Rewind. This is a co-op beat 'em up. And you guys, they nailed it for me. I know there have been like 20 plus iterations of Power Rangers to choose from, but these guys, they went back to the OG, the original Power Rangers, the 5, whatever. And they have the original music, the original bad guys, and the original 5 Power Rangers or 6 Power Rangers. And it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up game. It's going to be like Streets of Rage.
It's got that like old school graphics feel a little bit.
Double Dragon.
Yeah.
Amazing. It looks...
I'm going to be honest with you. This is the one out of all of them that I was like, okay, yeah. Like I'm into this.
Yeah, I think this will be a great game.
This looks like a great game. Me and JD,
it's a throwback.
We've played a couple beat 'em ups together, and this looks like a great game to play with someone like just hop on a couple friends. Like, we're gonna play some Power Rangers, beat 'em up. It doesn't look complicated. It doesn't look complex. It doesn't look.
It's gonna feel like a time machine. If you're from the 90s, you're going to feel like you're sitting down to play a lost Power Rangers game that you never got to play as a kid, but you like heard about it, because it looks exactly like this would be an unsurprising title to see in 1996.
Yeah. 1,000%.
You'd be like, oh yeah.
And what I like that they're doing is, if you've watched the trailer, it's like not even like the gameplay changes a couple times, kind of like how I think Sonic games did this a couple times,
like a little first person section where you're like driving a vehicle briefly. And it's gonna be like Battletoads, I think, had stuff like this.
Yeah, that's what Battletoads had. And then the art style changes during the cinematics,
and the art style looks awesome. Into the art style.
Look, I'm not into Power Rangers. JD and I were talking about this before. I'm the age that like made fun of Power Rangers, thought it was lame and dorky. This game looks fun. That's the thing. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter the context. It looks fun. And what I did want to see that I didn't necessarily see in the trailer was like getting into the giant Gundam robot type of thing.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I do.
Power Rangers is such a good fit for a beat 'em up, in my opinion.
Great.
I think it's a perfect fit. That's the IP is based around them just hitting things. That's all they ever do. They never solve a problem.
They fight these dumb minions until the boss shows up. That's what they do.
They just hit things.
Yep.
What
that
else
one was on my list too.
Yeah. What else you got?
I just wanted to bring this up. This isn't one that I was interested in, but they did show a small, tiny Star Wars. What's the Star Wars game called? Outlaws.
Do anything for you? I didn't even watch it. I didn't care.
No, it was so short. And then it says at the end, this is how bad this event is. It says at the end, see more at the Ubisoft Forward event. And you're like, why'd you even put that in there?
If I'm Jeff Keighley, I'm like, you can't do that.
Yeah, I'd be like, no.
Back next year. Fuck you.
And honestly, we've talked about this game before, but like, I don't know what it's going to take to get me excited about this game. But all the trailers have gotten me the opposite. Like, I was started off positive, and then I watched the trailers and I'm like, I don't think I like any of the directions they took. So there's that. Civ 7.
Oh, okay.
This Civ 7. Look, as long as it's decent, because I've played a bunch of Civ games. Oh God, I don't even know. 3, 4, 5. Like, I've played a whole bunch of them, and here's my take, and some maybe Civ fans might hate this, but they all got like the same feel. They're kind of samey to me. I
Mhm.
kind of take the same route every time. I'm not like one who's like, I'm gonna send out all my missionaries, and you know what I mean. Like, I'm not very diplomatic. I'm just like, I'm gonna kill everybody. That's what my civilization does. We're America. we just take stuff. No, and so look, Civ 7. The only exciting thing is that like there was an announcement. That's it. I want Civ 7.
Okay.
I'm interested to see if it's good. If it's good, I will play it. 100% I will play it because I have played so many Civ games before this. Are they my favorite games? No, but they scratch an itch for me. So Civ
I like
7.
that. Stormforge. Did you look at this one?
No, what was that one?
Stormforge. I saw the word forge. I just made a guess, and yes, it is survival crafting, which I
Oh.
love. It's cell shaded.
Oh
I
yeah,
love that
maybe
art
that's why I
style.
didn't even look at it.
Don't see a lot of that anymore, but I do like it. Is cell shaded survival crafting. You play with
Interesting.
up to 8 of your buddies,
I like
and
that.
you harness the power of magical storms as part of it. Looks like you're fighting a lot of crazy monsters. You're running around exploring all these biomes and building stuff. It just looks like a unique look that I really like for a survival crafting game. I think cell shading, I just think it fits. I think it looks good. I mean, all sorts of different graphic types fit for this,
Because
but
this game is like a mishmash of a bunch of different games. This looks like
right.
this looks like Zelda Breath of the Wild meets Valheim meets I don't know, something cell shaded. Like it's
Yeah, just a little bit of everything.
interesting.
Right?
What I am looking though, and what I was looking for in the trailer is the crafting, because my biggest nit
Yeah, I didn't see the
every
Is there
crafting game,
anything in there?
if you
There's
look at
just like a little
if you
bit.
look at the Steam page at 23 seconds, they're showing it crafting, and it looks like it clicks together really well, which is sounds stupid, but there are so many games where you cannot get the stupid walls to click together easily.
Yeah,
And
that's
this looks
true.
like it's doing that. So I don't know. This could be interesting. I'm gonna put it on my wish list right
Yeah,
now.
it's on my wish list. What else you got?
Okay.
I got 5
Oh,
more.
do
I don't
one more.
know.
Let me pull up this one. I wrote down
Cuff
and I can't read
Bust.
it.
Cuff Bust. This one
Okay.
looks almost more up your alley than mine, but at the end of it, like I got halfway through it. I was about to turn off the trailer. I got halfway through and was in hysterics for the last half. It just, I was dying, and I want to play this with you. And it sounds like I bet the Libros would be into this one
It
too.
looks bananas.
You play in this game. This is a multiplayer game, from what I can see, as Jailians. They are aliens locked in jail, and you work together to escape from jail. And it looks like a lot of these co-op mission-based games that you've been playing recently,
Yeah.
or the 2 that you've been playing.
I played, what was it? I don't even remember what it was called.
There was
the
a haunted
stupid-
one.
Yeah.
You
Oh, like
played.
Lethal Company.
There was Lethal Company, and then the one you played in like an asylum when you guys were like trying to find ghosts.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about Phasmophobia.
Exact same thing. It's like not great graphics. Your characters look stupid and doofy while they run around.
They look
And
like gummy bears with ears.
yeah, and it looks so silly. It's coming out next year. Cuff Bust. I watched the trailer. You guys got to go see the trailer for this one. It looks amazing. Like you throw a stick of dynamite in a toilet to blast into the sewers, and then you all jump into the sewers and run away. And there's some guards, the prison guards that are chasing you, so you have to shoot them and run away. And then you go to take the helicopter that's come to pick you up in the jail yard, and then somebody actually stole the helicopter from you, and it looks like absolute madness. And it looks like I would be
chaos.
laughing the whole fucking time I was playing this. It's just silly.
Yeah, this looks like the type of game where you would have fun playing it with your friends, like you just
Friends only,
screwing
don't play
around.
this alone. Yep, Cuff Bust.
Okay. So I have, let's see, 2 more that I was going to talk about. Tears of Metal or Tears of Metal. I'm not sure. I think it's Tears of Metal. It's a medieval hack and slash co-op roguelike. So the roguelike like got me hooked into it. But if you watch the trailer, this game just looks like chaos. It is like you are marching into a battlefield with just like hundreds of guys slashing your way through. It does have co-op, which is always interesting to me. And I don't know why. Like, it doesn't look like graphically, it doesn't look like anything interesting. Even the like hitboxes don't look super great, even in the trailer. But this just seems like something that would be fun to play with other people, especially if it's a roguelike, where you're just running through hordes of guys, just slashing away, trying to kill all these things. I'm sure upgrading powers and getting random abilities.
It did look like there were a lot of upgrades in this, and you could like add people to your army. So you're kind of like the super warrior at the head of like a large army. And as you go through the roguelike aspects, like every, stage or whatever, every level, you can add to it. So I like that aspect, but did this look like a game you would play?
Yeah.
I just couldn't get there on it. It looks amazing. It looks like an amazing game that I'm not super interested in. Not my cup of tea.
This is definitely a price point type of game.
Oh,
if this game is $10 to $15 legitimately, then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play this if it has okay reviews, right? This looks like a game that could come out and just
be $50
and it'll be $25 to $35, and it's gonna have mixed reviews. That's what I feel like. But if it is a slightly gem, like this seems like I could have fun with this for a week. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let's play this for a week. It
kind of looked like the enemies just kind of stand around in piles waiting for you to go attack them, and then there's going to be a handful of like super strong tanky bad guys that you have to hit a million times. And but I loved the idea of a hack and slash roguelike battler, almost like it's got kind of, for me, I always compare these to Chivalry, because I like that vibe of having like a big huge battle, and if you're really good, can impact the whole battle. I just couldn't get there.
So I put on my wish list. This is one that this is not one that I'm like, I'm playing this, I'm stoked. This is one that I'm watching, and if it's good, I'm definitely gonna be interested, right?
Yeah.
So this is a wish list.
One weird one I just wanted to mention really quickly, because I think it was weird briefly, and I think it's very weird. I can't wrap my head around it. Lego Horizon Adventures. This is a Lego game of the first two Horizon Zero Dawn games. So Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forever Skies? No, Horizon, what the fuck was it called?
Forbidden West.
Forbidden West.
Did you say Rubber Skies?
I said Forbidden Skies. I combined two games.
I think
one that is totally unrelated.
Is a game.
Yeah, no. The two Horizon games, they have now been Lego-fied, which I could very well be mistaken here. But I think this is the first time Lego has made a Lego game entirely based on another just purely game IP. Because Horizon wasn't like a movie or a book series.
Yeah, this is just
a game of a game. They made a video game about a video game.
Yeah.
Very weird to me. I find this very weird.
I don't understand it.
It's like if the Lego Batman movie wasn't an original story, but was instead a retelling of the Tim Burton or the Christopher Nolan Batman with Legos, which would have been fucking weird. But they did their own thing. The idea that they just made a game of a game with Legos, and quite frankly, a fairly serious tone of this game.
That's the thing that's weird for me. Like a game of this game. Like, are they going to make a Lego Last of Us? Let's just keep going. Like,
yes,
I don't get it.
Really weird one. And yeah, that's another great point. Is this was a PlayStation exclusive, so this isn't some like very popular game in the zeitgeist. Like if you made a Lego Fortnite or a Lego, I don't know, the game that everyone has played. This is a game this is a niche fucking game.
I don't get it.
So I watched the trailer. It looked exactly like you think. It's Lego-fied. It's all quirky and goofy and fun and haha goofy. You'd have to be a pretty big Horizon fan and a pretty big Lego fan. I don't know who the cross section is who wants this game. I think this is insane.
Like, how are they expecting to make money with this?
This is insane.
It just
like I don't know.
Like my kids aren't interested. My kids aren't going to be like, I've been dying to play Horizon Forbidden West, but but like I couldn't play it because you wouldn't let me. But this now
I want to play a lesser version of it where you like hold. Dude, I don't know.
I don't
Because
get
I'm
it.
very fond of the Lego games, and I like the Horizon games, but this is a weird one to me.
It's like they were just grabbing any IP they could get their hands on, and I don't get it. I don't
It's fucking
understand.
weird. This is weird. How many more you got?
Just one more, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Dragon Age. First off, this game came out and they revealed the name, which is the Veil Guard. Whereas before it was what was it called? It was called Dragon Age Dreadwolf, which is the coolest name. And then they came out and said that was the project name. It's called Dragon Age The Veil Guard. Which is fine, I guess, but everyone was like, man, like Dreadwolf was so much cooler. People are disappointed in the art style that they revealed in this because it does have that like more cartoony look. Like it's not what I'll say from someone who's not like a big Dragon Age fan, it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look like a Dragon Age game, which had more of the these are the same guys who made Mass Effect, right? So it had more of that visual effect. And so yeah, it's very interesting. The game looks like it could be good. Like that's what I'll say. This looks like it could be good, but I think a lot of that was overshadowed by like the weird change in art direction and the weird change in names. So it's a good example of like how odd decisions can affect affect how the game is received before it's even out. I think it's starting off in a weird place. People are like, this doesn't feel like Dragon Age. Which people have been waiting for Dragon Age for a long time.
Yeah.
And it honestly doesn't feel like Dragon Age. Like that's the thing. I look again, I'm not a big like Dragon Age fan, which seems like I would be, but I played a little bit of it and this doesn't feel like a Dragon Age game. So I don't know.
If you're gonna wait this long, you better come out swinging.
Just give. I don't know. I feel like just give the fans what they want. Like I know it sounds dumb, but like, come on, BioWare. You've had a couple tough lessons.
This keeps happening, isn't it? Like Saints Row and what was the other one that came? Was it Payday? Payday 3?
Yeah,
and Saints Row 4. It's just like these were games that people loved, their beloved series that people have been waiting for decades for the follow-up, and you just come out with a stinker. I don't like that.
Make weird decisions, and it's like, I don't know, just give people what they want. That's it. That's my only take. Like, I don't know what you're doing. Why'd you change your direction on a successful franchise? I don't know.
Probably cheaper that way. I've got two more really quick. This one, Jenna brought to my attention. Then I was like, what the fuck? Why did you even click on this one? It's called Slitterhead.
You heard that right? I hardly know her. Oh.
Slitterhead. I hardly know her.
Know her.
The trailer was an adventure, to say the least. If you guys are interested in the weirdest fucking trailer, just go Google Slitterhead. It starts out looking like a detective horror game.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. And I'm watching it right now.
That seems cool, but it quickly morphs into like an insane monster battler game with these crazy abilities, and it's in this like Japanese city, it looks like, and it's all over the place. It is, I don't even know. By the end of the trailer, every second that the trailer went on, the less I felt like I understood or had a grasp on what the game actually was. But I can say, at the very minimum, I am intrigued by Slitterhead.
I don't even know what this is. You're right.
Wild.
The tone
goes nuts.
The tone of the trailer changed drastically.
Yep. It looks like you play different characters that have different abilities. One of them seems to be some that you can possess anyone in the city and then fight the monster as that person. Some of these other people have different abilities, and I don't know. Looks crazy. Looks fucking off the chain.
Does look off the chain.
And then my
description in Steam is, quote, I must eliminate them, ... all, end quote. That starts. So I don't.
You're not going to get any clarity on this game. The more you look into it, the less clarity you'll get. And the
Yeah.
last one here, probably, well, I guess this is in my top 3, probably my top 2, right behind Power Rangers, is Sonic X Shadow.
Of course.
For me, I don't know what it was. This is the first Sonic trailer I've seen in 10 plus years that made me go, yes. Even Sonic Frontiers, I was like, eh. But this is Sonic X Shadow. What is it? Is it Generations?
Sonic X Shadow Generations.
When I heard that, because I believe Sonic Generations was kind of a side-scrolling game, more classic, traditional, I thought that's what we were going to get. No, this is almost like they're like, well, we're going to do a Generations game that's 3D. And this feels like Sonic Adventure 2, when the Sonic 3D games started to get good, in my opinion, when they had their bright spots. And this looks like a game that learned a lot from those bright spots. They didn't try to go way outside the formula like they did with Sonic Frontiers, which is like this open world whole Sonic thing, which is fun. I'm glad you guys are trying new things. But it's Sonic X Shadow almost looks like a return to form with a lot of the set piece levels, but they're all in 3D. Like I said, they feel like me playing the first 3D Sonic game, not Sonic 3D Blast, but the real first 3D Sonic game, which is Sonic Adventure on the Sega Dreamcast. I don't know, dude. You play as 3 different hedgehogs. I think you play as Sonic, or you play as Shadow, or you play as Robo Sonic, or whatever the hell he's called. This is out October 23rd, and for me, this may be a full price buy because I'm a sucker. I didn't buy the last 2 full price Sonic games. In fact, I'm still waiting on Sonic Frontier to go on a bigger sale than 60% because I still think it just doesn't do it for me. It doesn't feel as much of a Sonic game as this one does. Again, I've only seen the trailer, but from the levels and the things that they've showed off in this, I think Sonic X Shadow may be right up my alley.
Man, this game looks like it would give me a headache to play.
Yeah, that's what I like.
That's kind of what Sonic is, though. Even as a kid, I was like, "This is so fast, I can't register what's happening."
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they are. And I'm with you. I just watched 2 trailers while you were saying that, and it does look like a Sonic game, truly a Sonic game, but with 3D elements, like the whole thing's in 3D. So, this could be Sonic's, I don't know, return to its previous glory, because there have been a little bit of a falling. The games have not been as good, but this could be a return to Sonic in his true form. That's what it looks like. That's honestly what it looks like.
It looks good, like not trying to overdo it, not trying to like do too much or reinvent it.
I think you're spot on.
Like right when Sonic was getting good into 3D and they kind of had one misstep with Sonic 2006, they went nuts and they did Sonic Unleashed, where you played as a werehog, as we were played as it was like a beat 'em up. Sonic was half the levels. And so they do this where they get like nervous and they get scared and they go try to do something crazy and new. But Sonic isn't Mario. You can't get away with that. People just want you to run real fast.
And that's the thing. Like, it's hard to do the fast mechanic without having the traditional Sonic levels. Like, you a little bit like have to feel like you are not in control.
Yeah. And you're just holding forward. Honestly, sometimes I just want to feel like I'm holding forward and going way fast. Like,
hoping for the best.
Don't overthink it. Yeah, and hoping for the best. And maybe I press A at the right moment. Maybe I don't.
Yep.
So yeah, that one's out later this year. Sonic X Shadow out October. And that's it. Guys, we got a lot more of this coming because we've got the Xbox just dropped today, the day of recording.
And we were like, should we do it? And there were so many big ones on Xbox.
We're already way over time. Yeah. So yeah, we'll do Xbox next week, and we may have more. Everyone's doing the Ubisoft thing, might have something non-shitty. It sounds like they'll have a follow-up on Star Wars Outlaws. Oh my god, what a joke.
I'm still waiting for something good. So
IGN had a really good summary of the Summer Game Fest 2024 with all the different games that were linked, if you guys want to go somewhere to look for those. But yeah. And we'd love to see your thoughts on the Discord. We also have a live event channel where we discuss these types of things.
Silverthorn had posted about it as it was going quite a bit. I unfortunately couldn't read it. It was the first one I haven't been able to follow like while they were doing it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. But yeah, that's always pretty fun to like watch it and go through it as a group.
Yeah,
like
which is
doing
funny
that.
because like in here you can see Snorgle mention that the subreddit was kind of melting down, the Dragon Age subreddit, when they were doing that announcement because people were kind of unhappy with it. So yeah, it's cool if you guys want a place to kind of discuss these things when they happen live. If you're interested in that, our Discord's a great place to start. All right, let's move on.
Dice of Destiny.
All right, Dice of Destiny is
Let's
this
get
game.
over with.
Huh? I'm drying out. We roll a 20-sided dice that has 20 different game genres assigned to it, and then somebody has to play a game in that genre. And Peterson last week rolled the best number on the dice, ye old 19, and he came up with a sex game. Peterson, what sex game will you be playing this week?
Okay, this is, I mean, I had a couple of our Discord users following along with this. Looking for sex games on here is an exercise in insanity because these games are not great. First of all, most of them aren't even games. They're just like visual novels that are short and just like to have sex with an animated character.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to play a game at least. So I picked a game finally. This is one I'll be honest, JD and I have had on our radar since we added sex games to the list.
It's good. It's a game.
It's
an
a game.
Actual game.
It is a game called Scarlet Maiden. It is an action platforming roguelite type of game. And you're like, that doesn't sound like a sex game. No, it's very much sex game. Go at your own discretion. Go look at the
in an incognito tab. Go look at this game.
JD said, "Oh, hey, look, there's a light. I can see a playthrough of this game on where was it?
X videos.
That you have to watch it on a porn site.
Yep.
And so that's the game I'm going to be playing. It's very cartoony, which makes me feel less creepy. Maybe, I don't know. I see some of the screenshots. It's pretty awful. So
yeah, I saw it to open like a chest. If you find a treasure chest, there's like some guy leaning against it, and you just go fuck him real quick, and then you get in the chest.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and like there's lots of like blowing random enemies or something.
Yep. You're just sucking dicks and fucking things.
Yeah. Just getting stuff shoved into you. You play as a female character, as the Scarlet Maiden. So
see, I'm glad you're playing this one because then by the time this game comes back up on the dice, I'll get to play the Pokemon game that this same company is making right now.
Oh, it's these guys making it?
Yeah, they're the ones that made the other one that looked good too.
JD, I might have to just turn off the game audio while I'm watching. I won't do it for the podcast. I won't do it. But even in the trailer, sloshing sounds.
Sloshing. Yeah, a lot of voice sloshing in this game.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
So here we go. This is it. We're in. I'm just gonna play this one more time.
Fully, our podcast is now finally rated adults only. We got past the mature rating, and we're serious business now.
We are going to have open sexual intercourse on every street corner of America.
So tune in next week. We're going to play that whole song.
Oh, all right. My gosh.
That's it. Thanks for sticking around for us on this nearly 2-hour sode.
We're just chilling.
You're out there. You're like driving a Cisco truck, or you're doing something that you're like, man, I hope this podcast never ends. We're here for you.
We are your people.
Yeah, we just never stopped shutting up. We never start shutting up because we suck at it. Anyway, I'm going to bed.
Okay, we got to end the episode first.
Play us out. We got the theme from Power Rangers.
Of course we do.
We're definitely going to play this beat 'em up. Did this have a release date? Did I put
I don't know, but I wasn't a Power Rangers fan, but this song is great. So if you don't like this song, you can just get out.
Just get the hell out. All right. I'm JD logging off.
And this is Peterson going AFK.
And anyone I didn't even look at the comments. Oh, nice.
There's only a couple comments. Yeah.
All right. Well, if anyone's on YouTube, thanks for swinging by. Like hanging out with you guys.